it's me again. So, I want to take us back during the time of the 2010s to 2020 era of makeup. And there's a reason why. Because I've noticed the latest trend is like a clean girl aesthetic. And I completely agree. I get it. It looks great. It's good to smell good. But I've seen so much of just video creators, YouTube, TikTok, having so much of overconsumption of just clean girl stuff, like body washes, body scrubs. I'm confused. It's what they call the shower Olympics of who smells the best, I guess. I don't know. Either way, it's the same thing with perfumes. People are over consuming on perfumes and buying so much of numerous of perfumes, which I get it, you do you. It kind of takes me back of the makeup times of where people were doing the same thing due to like influencers with makeup. So I thought about all my makeup palettes that I have here, which I still have other ones, but nobody really knows about or anything, and they're not like a gatekeep or anything like that. They are the ones that you buy in the LA alleys, which I don't suggest at all because they are so toxic and not good. But either way, I kind of want to take us back in time because I was very much into overconsumption in makeup. You'll see it. I don't even use a lot of these. I've used some, but not all. Some have not been touched. Some have just been sitting here. And I kind of want to go through that rabbit hole. So I have some notes of when they were released and such. This is just my take and my perspective on things. So my opinions are my opinions. You can formulate your own. But this is what it was like for me when I first got into makeup. So I started wearing makeup when I was 21. I did the classic, very much deep eyeliner back in high school, but that was the only thing I was allowed to wear. And so when I went to cosmetology school, all the girls were all into makeup and I did not know a thing about it. So once I got done, I then realized, oh, I like makeup, and I started trying to get into certain things. But plus, when I first was introduced to ASMR back in 2011, 2012, I loved doing or watching the show and tells makeup. And so that's kind of where it started. And then influencer culture came through, and that's when it really, really pushed with everything. So most of these you will see is really based on influencer persuasion. So let's get started. This one is the Kat Von D Shade Light Eye Contour Palette, and this one in particular came out in 2015. So this one is a oldie but a goodie. Now this is where it was actually Kat Von D mostly matte. There's nothing shimmery about it. First, I really wanted to get into matte stuff because matte has always been my thing. But then I wanted to add some like flair to it, some bling bling, I guess you can call it. So I started getting into shimmers, and you'll see. But this is this palette. It's one of the classics that I have. Okay, this one is my Makeup Revolution. I kept calling it Makeup Forever for some reason. But this is the Makeup Revolution London. This is their chilled palette. And of course, as you can see, it is cannabis kind of themed. And this one in particular, I just really like green. Green's my favorite color. And this one had a lot of beautiful, beautiful greens in it. So, as you can see, it was so very much pigmented. I mean, anytime you see a glitter shade, it can be either the best glitter shade or it can be the absolute worst one. And it was difficult trying to find glitter shades that actually was glitter, because most of the time you would have a glitter shade, you wipe it, and then next thing you know it's just a spray on glitter at first to give the illusion, and under it's just chalk. But this one, I used these two before, and I think it was for 1 year I was a witch for Halloween, if I remember correctly. So that is the chilled palette. I mean, the thing is beautiful. The thing is just stunning. I love it. It wasn't necessarily, I don't think it was one of those like, so as you can see, it's just glitter. It's just all glitter. I do have some wipes over here because I know I'm gonna swatch a couple. I like swatching my makeup. I'm gonna try to open this and be very careful. Okay. The Makeup Revolution chilled palette was released in 2020. So, like I said, I have my notes to kind of remind me, because I will forget to kind of look over and be like, oh yeah, I was supposed to talk about that. But I remember using that palette for when I was a witch one Halloween, and it came out amazing. This is another Makeup Revolution Fierce as Fire palette. It was gifted to me, and I was very confused by this palette. It was released in 2018. I thought it was a palette that was how do I explain it? It was highlighters and such, but it's not. It's actually eyeshadows, apparently, but I didn't use it. I just didn't use it because I didn't see like what I could have worked with it. And you know, I wasn't really into highlighters when I was big in my makeup era, because I'm very oily and shiny as of now already. So for me, it's, how do I explain it? I did not want to look any more shinier than what I already am. So it's a beautiful palette, just wasn't for me. It's not my taste, but plus I think it was very warm tone, and at the time I didn't want to be warm tone. Ironically now, full circle, all I wear is a warm tone eyeshadow, which I only wear one on my everyday look now. So this is Kylie Jenner's first ever palette, the bronze palette. This palette came out in 2016. This palette was so hard to get. I remember when it came out, everybody tripped out, and it was difficult to find because she kept selling out on it. I think her lip kits that came out already, like her first 3 iconic ones, and then she went into eyeshadows. But this palette was difficult to find and get, and plus, if you did get it, the chances were you may have gotten used it a couple of times, but it's a bronze palette. That's the best I can put to it. It's very warm tones. So, did I like it? Yes. I have not bought another Kylie cosmetic anything since, because I really didn't want to associate myself with any of that. Plus, when she did her whole brush set from all those years ago, that was like $200. It was like, yeah, this isn't fun anymore. Your brand's not fun. So there's that. So this is Stila in the Light palette, and I specifically bought this. This one has a soft spot in my heart, and I probably will never get rid of it. Back then, when I first got into ASMR on YouTube, when I would watch the makeup videos, everybody kept having like a little mini, it was like this. It was a little mini eyeshadow thing of one shade in this palette. It was a beautiful shade. It still is. It's so notorious now at this point. But this palette in particular has that shade. I tried to find it on its own and I couldn't find it. I just happened to stumble across this on Amazon way back then. This palette was released back in 2011 and it was discontinued in 2015. There were other ones too, just like this, but it was like in the know, in the garden, and in the moment. I think one was focused on like green tones and then purple tones, and then I think neutral. I don't remember, but of course, in the light is just specifically, essentially like in the light gold. So as you can tell from the packaging and stuff, but these videos were referencing to this shade right here called Kitten. I love Kitten a lot. It's a very champagne color and it's so pretty and pigmented, so I'll do it right here. I mean, I'm pretty sure it looks like many other different ones. However, makeup was barely starting to get its traction to where like, oh, we need pigments, we need shimmer, we need that essence, we need that oomph, if that makes sense. So for me, I just remember looking at that shade thinking, wow, that is a really pretty shade, and I wanted it, but the only way it was available was in the palette. So I just have a lot of feelings when looking at some of these palettes because it makes me come back to memories of when I first discovered it. It's like perfume. When you smell a scent in a specific time that I used to wear, it takes you back in those memories. It's kind of the same thing when I see these. But this in particular is the Urban Decay. It's an eyeshadow, and this is in Midnight Cowboy. This is probably the oldest thing. It was actually released back in 1999, but I got this like maybe 2016, if anything. I got it because it was like a sample. No, it was something free I got from Ulta. I don't know if it was from my points or something, but I was able to get this one, and I really liked it. I'm actually kind of sad, but I think they just renamed it or something, or they have like a similar but not exact. I want to say it's Moon Dust is the name. But Midnight Cowboy is such a pretty color. I mean, it is so frosty. This is just frosty. I'm pretty sure it's probably like falling apart and getting really old, but like, it's such a beautiful color. You were able to wear this as a highlight. You're able to wear this as your inner corner, in your inner corners. You know, to highlight your brows, to highlight everything. Like, it's so pigmented. It was just beautiful. It's forever in my collection now. Now, this isn't really a known brand. It's called Rude a comic book. It really ties into my nerdy self. I think they even have an anime one, but I kind of want to get it, but then again I don't, because it has more of pastel colors, and I don't see myself wearing like a pastel blue or pink anytime soon. But these are the colors. I really haven't used it, and in the times I did use it, to be quite honest, it's like they've kind of disappeared. So let's say I do my base shade, which is this. Like, let's say this is my base shade, and then I want to add a little bit more dimension, and this is just an example. So here's my base, here's my crease shade, and then I blend it out. It's like the color starts to disappear, and let's say I do a shimmer to really give some more oomph. That shimmer goes away. So that's the only problem I had about this whole palette. It's a good palette, it really didn't work with me, but it was such a great gift too. I loved it. So this iconic palette is the Jaclyn Hill palette, and this is her first one. I didn't have like the folds, I didn't have all the other collabs or other palettes that she did. I have bought them for other people, but I just wanted to stick to the original because I didn't want to overconsume myself, and plus, not just that, I didn't have money like that. So, the Jaclyn Hill palette, this came out in 2017. This was essentially like your starter makeup palette when you got into makeup. You had every base shade that you can use to really get started, and then you had your other ones to give you the dimension, and then you have like a few like other different colors. Hold on, give me a second. Wow, this microphone is so good. I thought my daughter was talking to me. I heard her talking to Mr. Wiggles in the room. But I mean, the palette was great. Her number 2 palette gave much more other color variations, but it wasn't really much of my take, because a lot of girls like to go into the pinks, and I don't like pink at all. But this was a beautiful starting one. I hit pan on 2 of these because, like I said, when I finally started to discover my style and discover, it's gonna sound weird, but discover my face, it was then I realized I didn't need all these different colors. I just need one, and I try to steer away from warm tones, and then I just ended up coming back. But this right here is the makeup palette from Jaclyn Hill. It's just very unfortunate how the way she ended up turning out as an individual. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. I'm always been goth, or into the goth aesthetic. Like, every day I wear black, to be quite honest. Everyone at my work says they know me because I wear black all the time, or my makeup look. But either way, this is probably my first palette I bought to do smoky eyes, and I loved this one, but I kind of regret the fact that I didn't get the original Naked palette. I wish I did, but I didn't. So I think this palette was good, but I ended up discovering other better ones, and so this palette was actually released in, I believe, 2015, I want to say. I have to look. Give me a moment. Yep, it was released in 2015. And, don't get me wrong, it was a good palette. It just, one of the bad things about getting smoky themed palettes is it's all cool tones, and if you are a warm tone individual like I am, it can really flush you out. So, but this ended up discontinuing in 2017, and I think I know the reason why, because eventually purchases at all. I'm actually quite sad I didn't. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, nothing but warm tones, beautiful tones, beautiful. And Urban Decay had a nice formula on their eyeshadows. I'm just bummed I didn't get to use it and really get creative with this palette. Because, I mean, you could add so much could have had with potential in this palette. This palette was released in 2017. I don't know when it was discontinued, but as you can see, once the smoky palette had discontinued, the heated palette came out, or the heat palette came out. Okay, so I'm gonna get into my little 9 pans. You'll see I have a lot of Morphe palettes because Morphe was just the thing. Like, Morphe was everywhere. It was relatively priced, and they actually had good products of makeup. I'm not gonna sit here and say they didn't. However, it then started to really show their true colors of like their business practices, like when the stores had opened up, and then I think a year or two later all the stores had to close because of the bankruptcy, which I think half of it had to do with bad business practice and then the other half was because of COVID. But either way, I thought Morphe brushes were so good, but I came to find out I think they're under the same manufacturer of like a Crown. I think it's Crown or something, like a Queen Crown. So I don't know, to me it's kind of like, well, that's a bummer. So this is the Morphe 9 pan. This is 9W, and this is Smoke and Shadow. 9W was released in 2020. So another smoky palette. And like I said, it's all cool tones, which I really liked this gray. The gray was so pretty. The shimmer was really good too. It kind of gave a different aspect where I was like, wow, this is a nice, pretty potential for like a goth look, but I hardly used it. I mean, I used it enough, but still, it was one of those, like, I mean, it's not the, like, black I want. There's, like, a specific black shade, which is so hard to achieve sometimes, but it wasn't with that one. Shoot. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I think I just have a palette that fell. Pull it out. This one is the 9P. It's called Bronzed Babe. 9P was released in 2018. Yeah, 2018. It's tan. It's like tan. You're out in the beach tanned, like bronzed out, essentially. I've hit pan on one, which was Hang 10, because like it was a good, nice transitional shade I would use for a base a lot of the times. It just worked well. This is kind of where it started, that I was like, I actually like this color for my eye. I think this is what fits best, and I've honestly stuck relatively close to that shade with every eyeshadow that I have. So it's a good starting palette that I bought, and yeah, that's like my bronze kind of experience on that. This one is 9T, and 9T I believe was released in 2020. This is called Neutral Territory, and it pretty much is self-explanatory. It's all your neutrals. That's it. Same thing. I would always use that one, like peachy, like orangey nude, because it just fit my face so well. This shimmer shade I used to use a lot with like a smoky eye, but it would get a little too intense. But I would never use a black with it. I would always use the browns, never like a black. So I have to make a disclaimer. You will see palettes from influencers that have had such a notorious history of just doing dumb shit. Doing absolute dumb shit. But there's one in particular, which is all allegedly, had done some serious harm. I do not support these individuals. I have to, like, really emphasize on that. I collected these, like, Pokemon cards. Half of them, more than half, really, I didn't even use. It was rare that I did use them. So, I just like to have them a part of, like, the archives, the history. It's not funny in any way, but when you really think back on it, on Dramageddon 1 and Dramageddon 2, it just is different. Give me a second. Sorry, my daughter was coming out of the room, so I had to be like, what are you doing? But, so this palette, obviously is the Morphe X Jeffree Star collaboration that they did together. This came out in 2019. Now, like I said, I don't support these individuals. One of them should be in jail, to be completely honest. Either way, I have them. They're all a part of my collection. It's like baseball card collecting, perfume collecting, Pokemon card collecting. Like, that's just, it is what it is. So, but I don't wear them. They just sit here. It's just a part of the archives. So, I got this because it was becoming discontinued and I did not want to lose the opportunity to have it, so that's why I got it. As soon as the word got out of, like, all his drama of what he used to be back in the YouTube era days, I knew. I was like, shoot, I'm not gonna have access to this. I better grab it. So I bought it, and people were selling it for ridiculous prices on eBay and stuff. And I thought, yeah, there's no way. I don't want to deal with that. So I ended up buying it. No, I'm sorry, I didn't buy it. I think somebody gave it to me. And I offered to buy it from them because this is like, I know a lot of individuals would probably want it, but when I got it too, it was kind of one of those situations when I've actually seen it that I'm like, I can't wear any of this because it's just pink. Like, none of this fits me at all. But it's really intriguing to see, like, a very vibrant hot pink and like a red, because those were hard colors to come by, and when you did get them, like, they didn't stick at all. So this palette was just iconic, but it was not in any way like, oh, the best of the best that, like, left a staple in the makeup community, if that makes sense. So I'll get to a palette that did, and this palette is a 35W, I believe it's called Warm It Up. So this is all the warm tones. Prior to this one, it used to be called Color Warm, and that was released in 2016, but I think they just decided to revamp and rename. So when this one came out, it was in 2019. So some of these I still have the plastic coverings on them. Some of them I still have in their original packaging because, like I said, they're a part of the collection. So this is what it is. It's a good palette, don't get me wrong, but Morphe tend to, like, throw shit against the wall to see what would stick. So they had endless and endless of eye color shadows. Some of them I feel like are just repeats, and I've also heard that what color didn't make it onto the map, they would put it on another palette. That's why it threw me off when you would see this pink that's right here, because it's warm. That's not warm in my opinion. That looks like a cool one. So or like even this gray, it's cool. It's like warm it up. I don't understand what's the concept of this when you have a few cool tone shadows here. So I know what they do is that they would, like, put it on the chopping block of, like, what shades would hit, and then whatever they didn't use, they put in the back burner, and pushing on palettes, and it was difficult because I understand their whole concept was all influencer based. That's why you had all those use code James Charles for 10% off, use code this, like they were pushing really hard down our throats. So to keep up with consumer demands, they were making all these palettes back to back. I don't know if they still are now, but nobody really uses Morphe anymore. And I think it's just because they don't support them, which I get. I haven't bought a Morphe palette since 2020, to be quite honest. And you find better stuff. So that's what happened on that. And I started getting into shimmers. I started getting into all this stuff, and I realized I didn't have much of matte quality, like nudes. Like I wanted just a simple base nude palette, and Jeffree Star's Orgy palette came into play. This palette was created and released it was released in 2020, and it's just simple browns. It's all nudes, it's all browns, that's it. So you have your whites and cream, and then it goes into, beige, and then it goes into a little in depth, and then it really goes into your browns and stuff. They are all mattes. I hardly used it. I only used Safe Sex for the longest, and that was it. But yeah, as soon as I heard that he had the Orgy palette, I was like, oh shoot, I'm getting that, because I would love to have some just matte browns to kind of give the dimension that I'm looking for. So not just that, the black in it too was just so pigmented and vibrant that I was like, oh, I want that, because it was so hard to find a black palette that was like, or a black shade that would stay black. So like I said, some of these are still in their original packaging, so I have to stop recording and then take them out of their boxes. But oh should I close that really hard? This is the 35F, and this is the Fall into Frost palette. 35F came out in 2016. I have bought this palette when I first bought it, and then my friend saw it, liked it, and I gave it to her. So I ended up rebuying it because, as I mentioned before, I wanted to have shimmers. I wanted good shimmers. And this is pretty much what it is. They're all frosty. They're all stunning. I never really used it though, and I'm quite sad I didn't. But like, this is where I wanted to add that extra like vibrant bling bling, like blinding in my eye, like cut crease, and when I was doing all those dramatic looks and such. But I think at the time I got really sick because I found out I was pregnant, and I wasn't wearing makeup like that at that time any longer. I'm gonna try to close this. Give me a second. There you go. So when I was getting into makeup, I found out I was pregnant, and then at the time I was working at McDonald's, so having to do some crazy eye makeup was just impossible because you're just dealing with grease all day. So I got pregnant. I didn't wear makeup anymore. I really didn't start wearing makeup again until my daughter was almost 1, maybe, because I just didn't care. You're tired all the time. Okay, so this is the Morphe 39A Dare to Create. Give me one moment. So the Morphe Dare to Create had 39 different shades, and like they try to push it to where it was like you can create your own particular specialized look, and people did. A lot of people were using this to really amplify their kind of looks. So they had the big bands for the transitional shade as your base, and then you had your warms, and then you had your cools, which was really pretty. I liked it. This shade here was very much, I think, the big, I wouldn't wouldn't say the focus point, but I remember that shade got a lot of traction because it was a nice shimmery red. I'm gonna try to put this down. Give me a second. Okay, so I'll show you guys. So as you can see, it's a nice shimmer. Oh, let me get that thing to focus there. It was a nice shimmer red, but it still didn't have that, like, what we were looking for. This palette came out in 2017, and the reason why, you know, this wasn't as big as what you would thought it would have been, because it has more of a different tint red. Sorry, my daughter was coming out, and she wanted to ask me something, but I'm trying to make this quick, I'm sorry. So, this is what changed the game in the makeup community, in the makeup space. This palette, this man, his palette sold out constantly. Morphe milked this cow so long, so much. It was ridiculous. But I'm not gonna deny it. This was such an iconic palette. It changed the game of the whole makeup community. Everybody was wearing this. If you had this palette, you were the shit, to be quite honest. I bought this palette when his drama had came out, and then even after Morphe had cut ties with him, there was no way they were gonna have to continue business, but they were so adamant of making sure that they got their full price, but they weren't doing discounts at first, and then they dropped down to 30% off. You normally, like the Jeffree Star cosmetic collab that they did with them, those all went for 50 to 75% off. This was at 30 for the longest. I don't know if it ever went down, but that's the only reason why I bought it, because it was on sale. Because I kept thinking it was ridiculous of, like, Morphe was just relatively priced, but this one just was not, and they knew why. They knew they were able to go further than just the basic price. So here's the packaging with the signature, and these are the colors. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with this. It had every color that you can think of. I mean, you have a full-size white and a full-size black, and here's the difference between the reds. So, sorry, but okay. So here is the red from the Dare to Create, and there's the red from the James Charles palette. This one has a shimmer, yes, but you can obviously tell the difference in tones. He was able to make the perfect red shade, so that's why it was just very much like, this is such a staple. It was an icon. It was everything, even the hot pink. Like, you could not go wrong with this palette. He's just, I don't know why he's still relevant. I really don't, but allegedly, even though he openly admitted to the charges that, or at least the crime that he said, you know, when it came out. But that makeup really, really changed the game, and it's so sad. You know, that's what happens when you give somebody some money. They should have never gave him money. If you guys understand the joke, let me know. The Conspiracy palette is another iconic time in the makeup beauty community space. I think this is when Dramageddon 1 was happening, and the saving grace was Shane Dawson, sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking Sean. Shane Dawson did a documentary with Jeffree Star showing how he was misunderstood, I guess. I don't know, but it painted him in a good light when Dramageddon 1 was happening. And so all the backlash went back to what's it called? Manny MUA, Nikita Dragon, Laura Lee, and I forgot his. I think it's Samora, I forgot what, but it's been so long. But this conspiracy ballad came out, and it like changed. It was a weird. It's a weird ballad, but it's an oldie but a goodie. I have not touched this ballad. It is still really, really new. I don't even know if I swatched it, but this is the packaging. And then these are the colors. I mean, the whole, I don't know. It's a very strange palette, but I never was gonna wear it. It was one of those things I didn't want to wear. I just wanted to keep it just to keep it. So, let me see. The conspiracy palette came out. Let me see. Came out in 2019. I'm sorry. The James Charles palette from Morphe came out in 2018. So, this is just, it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it wasn't what I wanted. Well, it was a gift, but it's just something to keep within the archives, I guess you can say. And last but certainly not least is my absolute favorite palette. I love this palette. I'm sorry of who it's from, but I love this palette so much. I've still kept it in the original box that when I received my order. The palette is Jeffree Star's cremated palette. I love this palette so much. Don't care for the guy, but this palette, if I would have had it in high school, I would have rocked the shit out of this palette because of like all the potential to be able to have in this palette. Like, it's stunning, as the way he would say. I love it so much. Like Angels of Death, Death Certificate, Paul Bear, even Diamond Ashes. Some of the most beautiful glitter eyeshadows I've ever worn. I've worn this one for weddings. I've worn this one for like dates. I've worn this one to go to the first annual Sick New World Festival, where I got to see bands that I grew up with, and my all-time favorite band, Korn. I got to ball my little heart out. I went out with a bang, saw System of a Down with my eyes streaked out with all the black of the smokiness of my eye look that night. This is such a huge staple in my makeup collection. Like, even with some, I know it's like cool, but like even just some of these colors having the olive tones in them was just so amazing, and it gives much more in depth when you add that dimension. I love this palette. I'm sorry, I love it so much. It's my absolute favorite. I will never get rid of this palette. But yeah, it's any girl. I mean, I don't think he makes them anymore, but any girl that would want to have done to do a goth look, this is definite a glam goth look palette. You could have achieved anything with this one. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Sorry if it felt rushed. Sorry if it was kind of a lot of breaks into it. I just, my daughter's here, and I know she's been dying to hang out with me, so here shortly we're probably gonna go to Ulta because I have to go re-up on my bronzer. But until next time, guys, hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys are relaxing. I hope you guys are getting your your sleep. I hope you guys have the best day, best night, best weekend, best Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday too. So I hope you guys have the best week and stay safe and healthy. Like I said, like, share, and subscribe.